Welcome back or to my channel, and sorry for this intro, but I filmed this video a week ago and I lost the intro and the first 3 questions of part 2 of my medical assisting Q&A, so I'm going to try to make this super fast, but I wanted to share the first 3 questions with you guys, so then it kind of, you're not confused how I just start like in the middle. So question 1 was study tips and must-haves for medical assisting. So study tips, I recommended finding out what works for you, whether that's Quizlet or flashcards or a study group or making Kahoots or teaching it to people, because when you're teaching it, you're learning yourself. And must-haves, I'm going to film a whole separate video on that. Number 2 is interview questions, and I didn't have a legit interview because I got hired on from my clinical site, but we did have a mock interview for class, and they ask questions like, why do you think you'd be a good fit? What do you know about our business? What is your work experience? Things like that. And then number 3 is, what do you have to purchase a stethoscope, or is it something that is provided? And at my school it was provided, but I would check with your school if you need to have one or not. And you probably won't need one for a few months in because you're not going to be doing blood pressure for the first few months, at least not at my school. And then number 4 is where I kind of left off, but I'm just going to say the question here, and it is, can you make a good living as an MA? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how challenging was MA school? So part 1 of that question is, you can make a decent living. The longer you work, the more you're going to make. Depending on where you live, you'll be making different amounts of money, and depending on your lifestyle and how much money you spend. So it's good for my lifestyle right now, but I don't know if I'll be able to live on this salary for the rest of my life. And number 2, part 2 of that is the scale of 1 to 10, how challenging was MA school? And that's where the real video takes off, so I'm done now rambling on this little camera thing. If you didn't watch this part, I don't blame you. So if you did, just keep watching, and I'll see you guys with good quality in like 2 seconds. Okay, bye. Give MA school like 7 out of 10 for hardness, because it wasn't impossible, but it wasn't easy. At least my school was not easy. Like, I had to study. I failed a few exams. Not all of them. Don't worry. I passed some of them. And I got by, obviously. But it's not... But I don't want that to scare you away from being an MA, because it's very doable. And for someone that hates school and is not good at it, I did fine. And number 5 is, did I have an externship, and how was it? So yes, I call it clinicals or practicum, but other people call it externship. And mine was at an OBGYN clinic, and that's where I'm currently working. I loved it. I followed around a medical assistant and an RN, and then a provider. They were kind of like my go-to people. I'm not working with that particular team anymore. I'm with a different one within the same clinic, but it was good. I think there's a question on like tips for that, so we'll get to that. Number 6 is, did I have a diploma or certificate, and can you take phlebotomy class, and how are the tests? So that was a big question. So I have a technical diploma. You can take a phlebotomy course, however you're learning blood draws in MA school and lab, but if you want to be more advanced, take a phlebotomy course. I wasn't that motivated, so I didn't, but you can if you want. And how are the tests? My instructors were amazing, and they reviewed so much for our tests, and they did Kahoots, and we did group study things, and they prepared us really well for the tests in class. But they're pretty hard, but we were just prepared really well. Typical day as a student. I have a day in the life of a medical assistant student, so I will link that up above in the cards. But it's kind of a bad video, so you can watch it, but it's not very good. A typical day. I had class 3 days a week. 2 of the days we had lecture, and in the morning, and then in the afternoon we had like clinicals where we would do injections and not blood draws, and blood pressures and ear flushes and EKGs, and that's when we learned all of that. And then we had lab 1 day a week. That's when we did blood draws. And blood draws took up like 4 hours every week. So yeah, we had lectures. We also had online classes, but a lot of hands-on stuff. So and then someone asked tips before starting second semester, so I think this girl finished first semester, now she's kind of waiting for second semester, if I remember reading that comment correctly. But first semester is going to be a lot of book work and preparing for second semester, and when second semester comes around, you're going to be doing a lot more hands-on. So there's really no tips, there's really nothing you can do to prepare for hands-on because you can't really practice on anybody, but just learning, making sure you know the book work so when you get to hands-on you feel confident. That's my best advice, I guess. Number 9 is how is it to be an MA for peds. I don't know, I've never been a medical assistant in a pediatric clinic. However, I work next to a clinic. It's like OB, GYN, and peds, and they're kind of connected. There's like a hallway that separates them, but like we can still walk over, and like I'm on the border of OB and peds, if that makes sense. I don't really know. But they give a lot of injections, they do ear flushes, and they remove warts and stuff I'm not really interested in. I thought I wanted to be a peds MA, but I like being an OB MA way better, I think. I don't know. Number 10 is, did my school require uniforms and what is the dress code like? So yes, I had to wear a nasty hunter green scrub top and bottom every day for class. I only had 2 pairs, so I was doing laundry every day, but it was fine. And then for dress code, we could only have 1 earring, so like I have my doubles, but I could only wear the top one. We could only have 1 ring on, and that was a wedding ring. You could have a watch, because you have to have a watch. If you had any tattoos on your arms, you had to have them covered up. You could have 1 tiny nose ring. You couldn't have any tongue, lip, anything piercings. We had to wear white shoes and a solid colored jacket. So, and so many people in my class violated dress code, which obviously I don't really care what people do. But it's just annoying because I was following dress code. I took my earring out, like I wore my hair back every day. I wore a black jacket, and other people were just like looking raunchy, and I was just like, whatever. Clinicals are different because you can't have your tattoos or anything showing, but when you get to the workplace, most clinics are pretty lenient. So if you have a wrist tattoo, just wear a long sleeve shirt to clinicals. And when you get to the workplace, you can have a tattoo, at least at the clinic I work at. And number 11 is what certificate tests, or what is the certificate test like, which is the double AMA exam, which I talked about in the first part of this video, part 1. I did not pass, unfortunately, but whatever. It is what it is, right? You can't win them all, right? Number 12, the lighting is so blue right now, but I just want to get this video over, so, okay. How did I study for the exam? I got this CMA book at Barnes & Noble. I will try to link it down below if I can find it. It was $30, and it's like, it's not a very good review book. I don't know if I recommend it, but obviously I didn't pass the first time with this study book, so I don't know how good it is, but the back has practice questions, and I went through those, and I give you the answers. The clinical side of the exam, I did well on. The insurance and everything like that, I did poorly on, so that's what I'm really focusing on right now while I'm restudying to take it. And number 13 is, do I have to be certified in phlebotomy and EKG to be a well-rounded MA? And do I feel confident in phlebotomy and EKG? So that's a good question. You do not need to be certified, at least where I work in Wisconsin, you do not need to be a certified phlebotomist, or you do not need to be certified in EKGs. You do need to be CPR certified, so you have to take that CPR course at some point, and those need to be renewed every 2 years, I believe. So you do not need to be certified. There was a 2 certified phlebotomists in our class, and they did way better in the lab portion as us that weren't certified, so it's going to help you, but it's not required. And for EKGs, unless you work in cardiology or family practice, mostly cardiology, I do not think you need to be certified. I mean, I've never done an EKG in the OB clinic. So do your research on where you're working and everything like that. For all these extra certifications, if you don't need them, don't do them unless there is a pay increase sometimes. Then I would do them. But that's just me. I'm not an overachiever when it comes to things like this usually. Sometimes I am. And how do I feel confident in them? I haven't drawn blood since school, so I would need a refresher if I ever did it on a real patient, and same with EKGs. I mean, I drew blood on six times only in my life. That's all was required was 6 pokes, and EKGs, we only had to do them on 3 of our student friends. So I would need a refresher before doing any of that. Alright, so those were the rest of my questions for part 2 of medical assisting Q&A. If you guys have any other questions that I did not answer, feel free to leave them down below. I will either answer them in the comments, or I will be filming a part 3 possibly. I don't know how many more questions people could have. But I don't know. Hey guys, so I guess I never filmed an actual outro to this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Give it a like. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
My heart is beating to your drum, and I'm blinded by the sunshine in your eyes. Not thinking twice, am I this dumb? Although I know you're all I want.